Yes, please come, Garima.
Good evening, ma'am. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
sirs.
Please take the seat.
Thank you.
So, shall we start, Garima?
Yes.
So, Garima, tell us about yourself briefly.
My name is Garima Narula. I was born in Bareilly but currently living in Rudrapur, which is in Uttarakhand. I have done my graduation in English Literature from Hindu College, Delhi University. I am an optimistic and an enthusiast person. I like to read fiction and watch series.
Okay, so tell me, Garima, shall I presume that you are from Uttarakhand or UP?
So from the past 14 years, I have been living in Uttarakhand only.
So you are strong in Uttarakhand or strong in Uttar Pradesh?
So I believe in Uttarakhand.
Uttarakhand more.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, you are a district magistrate
Yes, sir.
in one of the districts where we have seen the cracks developing, whether Joshimath, Chamoli, wherever. Now, as has been decided even now, the district magistrate Chamoli has said some people have to shift from here and we'll give the place. Now, in your situation also, now as DM, you have also said the same thing, but people are not ready to go.
Yes.
They're not willing to go. And you're also a resident of that place, of Chamoli.
Yes.
So how would you convince your people of your district to move out because you're going to have a big disaster?
Yes, sir. So, as the district magistrate of the district, my first step would be to assure the people about the rehabilitation and the evacuation process. I would like to inculcate trust within them that their right to livelihood would not be on stake because of the shifting. So also I would like to ensure them about the gravity of the situation that is persisting in the area and about the future implications of the hazard that can be predicted. So my step would be to assure them and build trust within them. Considering I am the resident of that area, I will also join them and I will ensure confidence within them that along with them, I am also willing to evacuate and shift from the area.
You're a student of sociology.
Yes, my optional
Your optional of
sociology. Yes, sir.
Now tell me, the marriageable age of girls is these days discussed both at Supreme Court as well as at the Parliamentary Committee. You aware of it?
Yes, sir.
So from 18 to 21.
Yes.
Now, what are your views? Number one, in reference to the women who will be, directly affected, and whether this will any change will create a societal imbalance. If you can throw some light on it.
Can I take few moments?
Yes, please.
Sir, I believe it is a welcoming step in raising the marriage age of women from 18 to 21, considering the prevalence of child marriages that has been occurring. And if we wish to bring equality in the society, then considering the similar age for the marriage for the women and men is a progressive step. If we are willing to move towards a progressive society, I believe it's a positive change that policymakers are thinking of. However, the reason that is I believe that it would increase the time and number of age for the women to spend more of the time in their education. So I believe it would lead to women empowerment in terms of education. Also, since women are
Okay, so you're in favor of increasing.
Yes,
right?
sir. I mean,
any demerits?
Yes, sir. There are demerits. Like it is said that even there is a strict prevention of child marriages. Like still, it is going on. So somewhere it is believed that it will not act as a deterrence for the child for the marriage. But if we are looking at the optimistic side, I believe it would bring a change. However, we should look at the merits and the demerits and consider the stakeholders in it and their opinions to form a decision about it.
You have mentioned in your hobbies watching series. I'm not able to understand what is watching series.
Sir, it's watching web series. I
Web
like,
series.
yes, sir.
Okay.
The content that is provided by OTT platforms.
OTT platforms.
Yes, sir.
So there is some move at the level of government that in the next parliament session, in monsoon session, they are going to bring a bill to regulate OTTs.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it a good step?
Sir, the OTT platform, which is a platform for freedom of expression and creativity of the artist, I believe strict regulation and censorship should not be there. However, there can be self-regulation from the OTT platforms themselves, and there can be a light touch regulation mode in terms of OTT regulation.
So where did this light touch regulation word come from?
Sir, I read an article in the newspaper itself.
All right. Very good.
Because our government is focusing more on light touch regulation rather than any strict.
So what are the objectives of this light touch regulation? What is the government aiming at?
Sir, in my limited understanding, there were certain rules that came up in 2021. It focused on 3-tier mechanisms. The government will give an oversight mechanism.
No. I'm not asking the process. What objective? Like, where is the need to regulate? Why should they regulate?
So because there are implications that the content that is provided can be obscene and it can have a negative impacts on the children as well as the youth. The content that they deliver, that is where I believe certain regulation is required.
Thank you, Garima. I pass on to our member.
So, Garima,
Yes.
in the newspaper, I read that in USA, one city council has created some caste legislation.
Yes, sir.
What exactly is the issue and what they have done?
So the Seattle is the city which has passed the law for banning caste-based discrimination in the United States. So not in the United States, in the Seattle itself.
Mhm.
So the issue.
What is Seattle? Is it a state? Is it a city?
So it is a city, I believe.
Mhm.
I'm not sure about it.
I mean, the legislation
Yes,
has
sir.
been done whether at a state level, national level. You said it's not.
So no, it's
Whether
in the
it's a
state.
state level or whether it's city level.
So I think it's
Okay,
in the
carry on.
city level.
Karim.
I'm not sure. So, sir, it is to ban the caste-based discriminations because there have been various data that the Dalits there and the lower caste people have been facing discrimination in terms of workplaces and in terms of verbal abuses as well. So, there was a need, and hence they have come up with this legislation.
So, do you mean to say in United States of America,
Yes, sir.
there is no general law forbidding such a caste discrimination?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of if there is any general law or not.
Mhm. Very good.
I'll read about it.
Google had come out with BARD.
Yes, sir.
BARD, B-A-R-D.
Yes, sir.
That was in reply to ChatGPT.
Yes, sir.
Now, point is that BARD is supposed to be, at least what they said, is better than ChatGPT. So, my question is that all the creativity which we have when we are expressing ourselves, making some poetry, some literature, some story, some songs, whether this will be at stake?
So, since it includes some mechanism of artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
I believe this would not put anybody at stake because it is a just tool, not the lyricist or the poet or the lawyer itself. I believe it is a tool to enrich their content on that. So, I believe
But it writes poetry. You give a topic,
Yes, sir.
it writes poetry, beautiful poetry.
So, but in the human, there is a sense of uniqueness and
Okay.
creativity, which is unique to every individual themselves. So I believe artificial intelligence in terms of ChatGPT and BARD, I believe it is just a tool and it will not put anybody's interest at stake.
Okay. By
And-
the way, this Bard name has been chosen for what purpose? Why Bard?
Sorry, sir. I'll read about it. I'm not aware of
Okay. Bihar has prohibition. I mean, there is a prohibition policy in Bihar.
Okay.
Like that, whether other states in India also have that prohibition policy?
So prohibition in terms of
Oh, prohibition means prohibiting taking of liquor, selling, manufacturing, transporting of liquor.
Okay, sir. I am sorry, sir. I'm not aware. I'm really sorry. I'll read about it.
Okay. Reading fiction is your hobby,
Yes, sir.
is it not? What sort of fiction you read?
So it depends on the suggestions. Generally, I like to read Jane Austen's novels. Along with that, I read contemporary writers as well.
Do you think they are still valid, that Jane Austen's novel?
Yes, sir. I believe that they are still valid and they are
On
still.
what ground you think they are still valid?
Sir, the plot and the storyline of Jane Austen is very unique, and it's very interesting that it excites the reader
Is
about.
not embedded far away some in the other country?
Yes, sir, it is.
Then
But I believe that the heroines and the protagonist that Jane Austen presents in her stories, I believe, are so witty, clever, and considerate. Because Jane Austen mostly writes about her heroines, so I believe yes, it is valid. However, along with that, we need to inculcate Indian literature as well.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Garima.
Yes, sir.
Garima, do you know something about Manas Khand?
Yes, sir.
What is Manas Khand?
So Manas Khand is one of the Khand which was present since the Rishi Muni's time, from the ancient times, and one of the Khand which is present in Uttarakhand. Like the Uttarakhand has emerged from two names, Kedar Khand and Manas Khand. So Manas Khand is one of them.
So where these terms, two terms, Kedar Khand and Manas Khand, they come from? Which epic or which scripture?
I'm not aware of the scripture.
Okay,
Yes.
no issue.
Yes, sir.
Garima,
Yes, sir.
don't you think that there are certain similarities about customs and some functions, etc., and the titles, etc., between Uttarakhand and Maharashtra?
Sir,
Titles, dresses, marriage ceremonies.
Sir, I'm not aware about Maharashtra's tradition and customs, but if you allow me, I can take a guess over it. Sir, I believe it's the folk culture that is persistent in Uttarakhand, along maybe is one of the reason in Maharashtra as well. And the presence of, I'm not sure if the presence of tribal people is also one of the feature or not. This is what I can only think of.
Okay. Your capital is in Dehradun,
Yes, sir.
but officially they have declared it is Garrison.
Yes, sir.
So why they are not shifting to Garrison? What is your idea? Should they shift to Garrison?
Sir, in my limited understanding, the Gisayan area is very cold area, and it has a very lower temperature. So it is not feasible in terms of administrative, political, and other feasibilities. So that is why they have kept temporary capital at Dehradun.
So the Srinagar is cooler, more cool than Jammu and Kashmir Srinagar. It is also very cool. Why not Garrison then?
Sir, for that, I'll have to read about it.
Okay.
I'll have to.
Garima, do you think that if I say that a lot of people, young people are migrating from Uttarakhand continuously,
Yes, sir.
is it a correct statement?
Yes, sir. There has been an outward migration. Due to several reasons, I believe the lack of opportunities in terms of jobs, even since the majority, like 65 to 70% of the population lives in the hill areas. So there's also a problem of easy commutation problems, the lack of opportunities, and the quality of life there is little low. So for that reason, the people are migrating towards plain areas.
Suppose you become district magistrate in one of the districts, say Chamoli or Champawat or Pithoragarh.
Yes.
You become district magistrate over there.
Yes.
Now you are tasked with providing certain type of livelihoods to those young chaps. So what type of livelihood you will incentivize or you will promote as district magistrate so that you can retain not all but at least some of the young people in those hilly areas? What type of livelihood you will propose?
Yes, sir. So first, I believe I would like to develop a community-led development and community-led tourism there. Since Uttarakhand is prominent for the tourism, rather than depending on hotels and resorts, I would like to bring this culture within the people there so that they can provide staying facilities themselves. So that can be a more community-led tourism along with the youth and the people there participating in that. And the second, I would like to promote horticulture industries there. Since hill areas are prominent in horticultures and development of pickle, jams, these kind of activities. So I believe this would be my motive.
Okay. What about flowers? Cash crops?
Sir,
Lily?
sir, I'm not aware about
You are
the
not?
flowers. Yes, sir.
Okay, you are not aware about it. Okay, my last question is why these mountains, Himalayan mountains are so fragile?
One of the reason is the presence of these the tectonic activities that are present in the Himalayas. Along with that, the overdevelopment that has been happening is also making it more ecologically fragile. And they are prone to landslides and they are not present on the stable rock system, as Joshimath is also present on sand and stone rather than a stable rock system. So this is what I believe.
Thank you.
So, Garima, as a student of sociology, differentiate between westernization and modernization, and also comment or tell whether India's youth is moving more towards westernization or modernization.
So can I take a few moments? So westernization is the phenomena of imitating the West cultures and Western values blindly. For example, McDonaldization of culture and bringing Western cultures into our society, having dressed into Western and giving up their own traditions. That is what westernization is. Whereas modernization also includes values. It's a more progressive way. It is a process of coming from a more orthodox and moving to a more progressive society in a modern way, enriching their values and their traditions, and not only giving up their own and older traditions.
Okay, and what about my second part of the question?
Yes, sir. So, yes, to some extent, Indian youth is moving towards westernization. There are certain instances that they are moving towards westernization. However, I am very optimistic that that the youth will be oriented towards modernization, because that is what we hail for and that is what we look for in the future.
Talking about India's G20 presidency,
Yes, sir.
how can India make most out of it?
So considering India's G20 presidency, I believe India is becoming a bright spot in the world. Along with that, it can use its presidency in terms of focusing on its own economic growth, along with bringing more peace into the world. For example, Russia-Ukraine war. Now the world looks at India for bringing peace in the war that is happening. Along with that, the recent summit that has been done in the financial terms, it now looks at focusing on debt vulnerabilities of the developing countries. So G20 presidency, it is more about India becoming a leader of Global South and the voice of the Global South. Yes, sir.
What's your take on Uniform Civil Code?
So Article 44 of the Constitution provides for the Uniform Civil Code, and even the Uttarakhand government has recently focused on bringing Uniform Civil Code, and I believe it is a progressive step that will ensure social equality. It will ensure gender justice and gender equality about it. And I believe that rather than bringing the entire Uniform Civil Code at a one go, there can be a sectoral and specific areas where we can implement Uniform Civil Code. For example, first in marriage, then moving to maintenance and divorce. I believe that considering the opinions of all the stakeholders involved, so that nobody's religious sentiments are hurt. This is what I believe.
Okay, my last question, Garima. I would like to know your view on the target of achieving $1 trillion economy by Uttar Pradesh. Don't you think it's an over-ambitious target? And will they be able to achieve it in time or not?
Yes, recently Uttar Pradesh has highlighted about $1 trillion economy. I believe it is a very optimistic and not a very overachieving ambition. And for that, the government has been doing further development in terms of infrastructure, in terms of highways, roads, and other areas where it can focus on infrastructure development. And so right now, I'm only aware about this. So I am optimistic that it would reach to its ambition soon.
Okay. Do you know the current size of the economy of Uttar Pradesh, roughly?
Sorry, sir.
No.
I'll read about it.
Okay. Thank you, Garima. I pass on to Chairman, sir.
So Garima, in J&K, militancy is again raising its head.
Yes, sir.
And there has been a killing.
Yes, sir.
Now, on one hand, the government is contemplating on withdrawal of army and thinning down the borders and all. So, with this happening, what do you think? How do you rethink and revisit this decision?
So the withdrawal of the army is a good step because it's been many years that army has been stationed there. However, it should be a more gradual step, and the army should be removed gradually and not at one step only, so that there is still certain because there is still certain security issues that are growing. So in the favor of countries, the nation's sovereignty and integrity, I believe it is important that the gradual removal should be there. For that, the government and there has been also that they will station certain other forces. I am not able to recall the name. So
Garima, we have covered a lot of area. From our side, we are done with our questions. If you think that something has been left out from the DAF and we haven't asked a question, you may indicate so that I can ask the last question, if you wish.
Sir, I think
all is well.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you, Garima. We close our interview.
Thank you,
We'll call you again. Meanwhile, you can wait in the next room.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Please sit down, Garima.
Fine.
So, Garima, first we'll hear from you how you have done your own assessment.
Sir, I'm really not sure about it.
All right, that's better.
I am sorry, but
No, it's fine. Anything you may have felt, oh, I wish I had done this, I wish I had not done this.
Sir, I think there was certain lack of knowledge, I believe, on certain areas. For example, Uttar Pradesh is what I feel.
So, but you have time, Garima,
Sir,
to brush. Please. You have plenty of time. Exactly a month.
Yes, sir.
So, you would, on the first point that you have identified for yourself, you must fill up those gaps.
Yes.
Right? But overall, Garima, you are a very good candidate. I really appreciated your continuous confidence throughout. You know, the way you were handling and braving all kinds of questions, and right from beginning till the end,
Yes.
you had that energy also in you, and you had content also. Maybe the depth was not so much, but
Yes, sir.
it was a quality content. You did not tell anything wrong. Otherwise, we would have cut short the question and started off. So the only thing is that maybe you were a bit superficial,
Okay.
you know. So you may have to have more depth. And after every, I mean not every, but some of the answers you would say, I'm not very sure about it. There's no need to say that.
Okay, sir.
After you have told 2-3 things, why do you have to regret? You all right have. So
Yes.
you're not confident
Okay, sir.
about the
Answer.
correctness of your answer.
Okay, sir.
So that validation you are seeking, and every time, you know, when you finish, you have already spoken the correct thing.
Okay.
और आखिरी में आप कहती हैं नहीं सर बट मुझे आगे और मुझे आई हैव टू रीड अबाउट इट, खुद ही आप कह रही हैं आप रीड अबाउट, जबकि आप आंसर दोज क्वेश्चंस वेर यू स्ट्रेट अवे रिग्रेट एंड से कि सर आई एम सॉरी आई हैवंट आई वुड नॉट, यू डिड दैट 2 or 3
Yes.
क्वेश्चंस, उसमें तो ठीक है, बट बोलते 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 आपको एकदम लगता है मैं गलत बोल रही हूँ, जबकि किसी ने टोका भी नहीं.
Yes, sir.
वो आपका अच्छा नहीं है. वो दैट शोज दैट वट एवर यू आर सेइंग यू आर नॉट कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट इट,
Okay.
है ना. ये आदत थोड़ी सी करो, क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ द आंसर्स दैट यू गेव आर करेक्ट.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
और पैनल के एक्सप्रेशन से तुम गाइड मत होना
Okay, sir.
कि वो कहें एकदम किसी की भवें उठ गई तो कह रहे मैं गलत बोल रही हूँ.
Okay, sir.
You know, don't get ideas or don't read their faces. All right? अपने लगे रहो, जैसे जो आपको आता है बोलती रहो,
Okay, sir.
ठीक है ना. विदाउट वैक्यूम में देखते हुए बोलो, किसी
Okay,
को ध्यान से मत देखो कि उसका एक्सप्रेशन, कोई किसी ने मुंह खोल लिया तो आपने कहा अरे तो गलत बोल दिया. You know, these are very, you know, you need some kind of validation. कोई ऐसे ऐसे हाथ से हिलाता रहे और गरिमा के यहाँ मैं सही बोल रही हूँ, you know, you get the overall confidence. कोई ऐसे करे तो ठीक है, नहीं करे तो आप उसको उल्टा मत समझना.
Okay, sir.
तो वो आपका 2-3 क्वेश्चन में देखा, that is not proper.
Okay.
Either you know and you tell confidently, or you don't know and you tell straight away कि sir I am sorry.
Okay, sir.
You know, I won't be able to do justice and I'll read about it.
Okay, sir.
So that is it. And rest contents, everything else is fine. Your OTT, just read about it. You have read so much very nicely. So it's basically for national security. Okay, keeping
Okay, sir.
that regulation, but you read about it.
Okay.
There are some other factors also.
Okay.
And otherwise, you handle the situational questions also very well. Your Uttarakhand shifting and convincing them, I will also shift. I like that. You know, good personality. There was one candidate who says, why should I shift?
Okay.
Like you. मैं सबको बोलूँगा कि शिफ्ट हो जाओ, मेरा तो वहाँ घर है, मैं वहाँ से नहीं शिफ्ट होऊंगा. And he was bent upon. So naturally, you cannot call it as you have to be leader.
Yes, sir.
You have to lead. So that's it. We'll hear more about the performance from other members.
So, Garima, there are 2 areas which are interesting for you. One is sociology.
Yes.
That's your optional paper.
Yes, sir.
So, you cannot say that I will not read it.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So, whatever is the current issues connected with sociology, that you have to go for. Like in Bihar, 2 issues were there. One is this prohibition policy of Bihar, and second is caste enumeration, caste census in Bihar.
Okay, sir.
So, if you go into depth, then you will be able to answer questions.
Okay, sir.
And this Seattle itself, point is, you must have read the news,
Yes.
but then you have not read it in depth.
Okay.
Had you read it, then the first line itself says that the Seattle Municipal Council,
Yes, sir.
and municipal means municipal.
Yes.
It can't be in the state level.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Yes.
So then obviously when you read then till the last para, then you find that in USA there is no such legislation.
Okay, sir.
The news ends with that.
Okay, sir.
So I mean, wherever you read it thoroughly.
Okay, sir.
Now, being a student of English literature,
Yes.
it will be good for you if you keep prepared beforehand few of the writers, authors, poets, जैसे आपने जेन ऑस्टिन की बात की,
Yes, sir.
देन आई रेज्ड एन इशू ऑन दैट.
Yes, sir.
तो अगर आप बता सकते हैं कि जेन ऑस्टिन की स्टोरीज में क्या, व्हाट इज द मेन फैक्टर, लाइक ब्रिटिश एरिस्टोक्रेसी इज वन,
Yes, sir.
and secondly eligible women looking for marriage.
Yes, sir.
This is the basic theme
Yes, sir.
in her all this 5 or 6 good
Yes.
novels.
Yes,
She's
sir.
written some more also.
Yes, sir.
But this is the story. So if you speak this, after that you say that out of that the insecurity among women, I think, is a all pervasive matter. Then of course one can go to women empowerment in India.
Yes.
And what steps we have taken, then I mean it can lead to a very good discussion. But you must prepare. If you do not know, if you only know the name, if you have never read those interesting novels, it's not, I mean, they really go into the mind of the human being.
Yes, sir.
So Jane Austen's novel, it's good to quote, but then prepare with it.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Garima, you're a good candidate, number one. Number two, you yourself told that you were staying in Uttarakhand for so long time. So that then it is incumbent upon you to know in a little bit detail about Uttarakhand. You know quite a lot, but a little bit in detail, okay? Uttarakhand history,
Yes, sir.
people's history,
Yes.
migration about 200, 300 years old migration, all these things. You read about all these things.
Okay, sir.
This is important for you. And this Uttarakhand natural farming,
Yes, sir.
Uttarakhand natural farming, government is giving a lot of
Yes,
emphasis
sir.
on that.
Yes.
Fruits, you talked about horticulture, but at the same time floriculture, cash crops like potato crops. So these are the things which actually you should understand about how you can provide livelihood to the, how you can incentivize them. No?
Okay, sir.
So these are the things. Read a lot about Uttarakhand. Your time.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, उत्तराखंड का हिस्ट्री आप पढ़ लो. शुरू में चंद राजा और ये कत्यूरी राजा और क्या क्या है ना,
Yes.
वो सब चीज़ें हैं. तो वो सब आप पढ़ लें. और रिसेंटली महाराष्ट्र से क्या कनेक्शन है वो भी पढ़ लें. देयर इज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कनेक्शन एज फार एज दी. आप कहीं भी देखिए आपके इवन सरनेम आपके सेम है, पांडे, पंत.
Okay.
ओके,
Okay.
वाई इट इज सेम, क्यों एक से हैं, वो भी आप पढ़ लीजिए क्या कारण है. ठीक है, तो ये सब पढ़िए तो ठीक रहेगा. उत्तराखंड आप जब बताएंगे, आपके डेप में भी लिखा हुआ है,
Yes, sir.
तो रीड a little bit more about Uttarakhand. Dehradun, why Dehradun is not getting shifted to a garrison?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, इस पे आर्टिकल भी आए हुए हैं 3-4 भी.
Okay, sir. I'll read about it.
You go through all these things. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you will do well, absolutely, no issue. All the best.
So, Garima, personality and communication are good. Just you need to work on content a bit. So, you were good in bits and pieces. The topics which you knew, you were very good. And where you were not good, you want founding in few areas.
Yes.
So, keep working on content. And the good news is you have ample time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so keep working on. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So, anything you would like to ask Garima from us?
I would like to ask one thing. I feel that I have, but you all mentioned that I have a lot of time, but I feel that I have very limited time, so I'm scared of it.
So, let us count, let us see what you do the whole day.
Sir, I actually recently shifted to Delhi only. It's been only
So,
5.
have you
6
adjusted to Delhi?
Yes, sir. I have.
So, are you cooking food, taking care of yourself, or you have these
Sir,
services?
I have all the services. I'm staying in a PG.
Are you going to too many mocks every day, every second day?
No, sir. For as of now, I've only given 2 or 3, not more than that.
So, 24 hours are still with you? I mean,
Yes, sir.
Why do you not get time?
Sir, I think I sleep a lot.
I don't want to be personal, huh?
I think I sleep a lot.
Oh, sleep a lot. So I also had this problem, Garima, that when I was wanting to sleep at night, so what I did was, near my bed or on my hand I wrote Vinod Zuchi IAS. So that used to stimulate me
Yes, sir.
and remove, all the pangs of sleepiness.
Okay, sir.
Try that.
Okay, sir.
Your resolution and your little bit of anxiety is required.
Okay. I am very anxious and very
No,
nervous.
high anxiety is also bad.
Yes, sir.
So psychologists have said high anxiety is bad, very low anxiety is bad. Medium level of anxiety is the best.
Okay, sir.
So develop that in medium level anxiety, which doesn't affect your thinking power, which doesn't affect your health.
Okay, sir.
You know, that consciousness, yes, this is an opportunity I don't want to miss.
Yes, sir.
And what will happen if I get into, and think not just for your own life, think of your next generations also.
Yes, sir.
It will motivate you.
Yes, sir.
You cannot afford to miss this opportunity.
Yes, sir. I think I feel like the time I am not like ऐसा हुआ है कि अभी मैंने इंटरव्यू डेट के बाद से ही प्रिपरेशन अच्छे से स्टार्ट किया, सो आई एम स्केयर्ड ऑफ दिस थिंग ओनली.
नहीं, बहुत
आई हैव
time
मिस्ड द
बहुत
टाइम.
time.
आप अच्छे हो.
आधे
काफी
घंटे
अच्छे
के लिए
हो.
तुम्हें ज्यादा कुछ करना भी नहीं है, ज्यादा करना भी नहीं. दिस इज योर नॉर्मल, यू नो, दैट एंक्शियसनेस जो है ना, वो कुछ मतलब कुछ में ज्यादा होती है, कुछ गर्ल्स में, विमेन में ज्यादा होती है कि भाई क्या टाइम होगा नहीं होगा. सो इट्स अ गुड थिंग. दैट इज व्हाई दे आर गुड परफॉर्मर्स आल्सो.
Yes.
You know, men are not so this thing. I mean, they are just bindas. You know, जो होगा देखा जाएगा.
Yes.
You believe in preventive maintenance. You know, men deal with breakdown maintenance. जब खराब हो जाता है, then they start stitching. So basically, I feel that you don't have to do much,
Okay, sir.
and you have enough time to even prepare your questions and answers.
Okay, sir.
Make your own questions from your div. Make your own answers after searching.
Okay.
Don't apply the same mind that you have today.
Okay.
Look at the best answer that you can get from website and newspapers and all. Write it down in the format of answers.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I would do this. वहीं से शुरू करो जो आप बोलोगी यहाँ पे,
Okay, sir.
और उसको पढ़ती जाओ इतना कि याद हो जाएगा. फिर आप देखिए क्या फर्राटे से आप बोलती हैं.
ठीक है, sir.
ठीक है.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
बट ना सोने के लिए रेड बुल वगैरह मत लेना. ठीक
नहीं
है.
सर, वैसे तो आई ओनली स्लीप फॉर 8 to 9 hours.
सो ये नहीं अगर होगी तो आपका मेंटल फैकल्टीज काम नहीं करेंगे.
Yes, sir.
दैट
Yes,
मच.
okay.
फॉर मेमोरी, गुड मेमोरी, यू हैव टू स्लीप वेल.
Yes, sir.
डोंट कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन योर स्लीप.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, बट डोंट ओवर स्लीप, वो भी खराब होता है.
Yes, sir.
कब है इंटरव्यू? कब है?
So 27th
बहुत
March.
17th मार्च.
27th को है.
नो सर, अपने आप 2 घंटे कम सोएगी ये.
अच्छा.
बिलीव इट, इट इज ऑन 17th मार्च.
सर एक्चुअली ना मुझे थोड़ा होम सिकनेस हो रहा था यहाँ के, so that was
बस
also one of
वही
the
है.
reason. Yeah. Otherwise,
तो
I'll try.
मेंटली 17 मार्च के हिसाब से प्रिपेयर करो, प्रिपरेशन डबल हो जाएगी.
Okay, sir.
अपने आप एरियाज अपने आप सारे कवर हो जाएंगे.
So you try for the next 15 days. If you don't improve and anxiety level कम नहीं होती and working hours बढ़ते नहीं, so you come again and report to Mr. Sumesh that कि sir मेरा नहीं हो रहा. So we'll have 10 minutes one-on-one session.
Okay, sir. ठीक है.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
But वो नौबत आएगी नहीं, मुझे पता है.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है.
I
All
am
the best.
optimistic about it.
हाँ, ऐसे करिएगा कि एक कागज लेकर के उसमें आप अपना एंजाइटी के इश्यूज जो है लिख डालिए, और उसके आगे लिखिए कि मेरा ये इशू है, मैं कैसे उसको सॉल्व करूँगी. तो एनालाइज करके रेशनलाइज कर लेंगे तो बहुत से इश्यूज सॉल्व हो जाते हैं उसमें. ठीक है, राइट इट डाउन.
सर सिर्फ एक ही इशू है कि डर लग रहा है.
नहीं
अबाउट द इंटरव्यू डर लग रहा है.
द फियर हैज टू बी पुट इन द फिजिकल फॉर्म ना. क्वांटाइज करिए कि क्या क्या इश्यूज हैं फिजिकल, तब डू करिए. और क्या है कि एक थोड़ा आउटलुक है ना, तो जो पीजी वुडहाउस किताब में जो आउटलुक है वो होना चाहिए. कभी पढ़ा है? नहीं. अच्छा, वो उसमें आइडियलिक वर्ल्ड है. देयर आर केयर फ्री कैरेक्टर्स आर देयर, whereas the characters in Jane Austen जो है, they are worried lot right from opening page 1 to page last.
Yes.
ठीक है ना.
Yes.
तो थोड़ा सा लाइट हो जाइए,
Okay,
काम चलेगा, कोई बात नहीं. ठीक
You
है.
do well, Garima.
Yeah,
All the
thank you.
best.